A while back, we talked to Sean on an episode of Creator Chats. Well, we're back with the second part of that conversation, which is a deep dive into the world of public domain. Let's go back to Sean. Speaking of pursuing things that make you happy, let's talk about public domain.
Horny cartoons!
So,
Let's
okay,
talk about PD.
so you told us a little bit about like how it started, and how everybody came on board. But why animation? Where did the actual idea for public domain come from, and why was it animated?
So, I want to try to use dates, but it's going to take me too long. Multiple years ago, 2-3 years ago, when Matt and I were like, let's make things, we have ideas. I was spitballing. I was like, I want to do this horror comedy about blank. He's like, I've got this action movie about a helicopter. And we were just talking. He's like, well, I've got this one idea. I don't think it's there yet. And basically, he pitched me over a Zoom. He's like, what if 10 people go into an audition to become a princess? One of them gets the job. What happens to the other 9 that don't? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. But I don't know what that, I don't know what the story is per se. So I was like, okay, cute. Look, the actor pitched me an idea. Got it. And then several months went by. And meanwhile, I had in the back of my head this just really weird urge. If you're familiar with the movie Casablanca, I was like, I want to make a screwed up, because I won't drop F-bombs, just in case there's any children around. I want to make a screwed up sitcom about Casablanca. So it's just 6 months went by after Matt said it. And then literally at 3 a.m, I couldn't sleep. And I woke up to a rerun from Cheers. And it was like, oh, Cheers. It's like Rick's Cafe is basically just a bar. They're all a bunch of drunk, degenerate characters. What happens if a bunch of people that are wannabe princesses, wannabe famous people, whatever, all hang out at a bar being weird together? And I was like, okay, cool. That's really close. That's something. Now there's a format, there's a location, there's a little bit of a structure to be like, oh, sitcom. 10 characters, character gets into a wacky situation, they have to resolve the situation. Great. Now we have a format and a style. The other thing Hollywood wants is intellectual property, which is any well-known character, any copywritten thing. So Spider-Man, Batman, whatever. I was like, well, you can't just make copyright characters. They have to you have to create it, and then it's an original character, and then you have to make it, and then it becomes intellectual property. I was like, but there is a thing called public domain, which is after it varies depending on where you are and the year a thing was created. But essentially, after 100 years, a copyright expires and it becomes public domain. So it's like, cool. So there's princesses. Most of, for example, the Disney princesses are technically public domain because they come from fairy tales that are 500 years old. So I was like, okay, princesses going on auditions, well-known Disney princesses going on auditions. They don't get the job. They go to a bar. At the bar, wacky hijinks ensue. ... It's called public domain. Why don't we just call the bar public domain? And then quite literally, this was all 3 a.m, and a 5-minute in my brain. By about noon the next day, I had written the first draft of the pilot for public domain.
That's
and it was
amazing.
It just, again, the whole thing took 6 months, let's say. But it's once all the pieces in my brain went into the right order, it took me 12 hours to write the pilot. And there we are, public domain.
It's always cool when that happens. Things just click.
Yeah. When it's sticking in your brain that it's sticking for a reason, but it's waiting for the whatever the missing X factor is. The second you find the X factor, all bets are off.
Yeah.
And I've had that happen multiple times in writing, where it's I know I want to write this blank, but it's missing a thing.
Yeah.
And then you find the thing and you're like, oh, there it is. Got it. Let's go.
So why animation? Like, how did this all end up in like in animation? Because they're all like public domain characters.
Um, I think there was a conversation for like 5 minutes to be like, well, what if it is real life? And then we're like, but some of our characters are Cthulhu and Frankenstein
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
humans, basically. They're creatures of some form. And like, well, you could do that. You could do, prosthetics and makeup. It could look like Buffy. But when that goes bad, it
Or kind of
looks
like Once Upon a
bad.
Time, which
Yeah. I didn't watch every episode, but I feel like that show stuck a lot closer to human
yeah, it did.
character.
Yeah. But I mean,
Like
they
even
had
like
like
Rumpelstiltskin was just
Rumpelstiltskin.
a
Yeah.
dude. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's Robert Carlyle, but he's
Yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin. Get over it. Whereas like Cthulhu is a giant squid monster with tentacles. I was like, well, if that looks bad, it's gonna look like the worst episode of Doctor Who you've ever seen. And yeah, if it goes great, people are gonna love it. It'll look like a Marvel movie, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's a huge. The two ends of that spectrum are
Yeah.
just really far apart. Where animation is like, well, we could do whatever we want. We could have a million characters. We could have characters explode. We could, in the first episode, Cthulhu grows to like 50 feet tall and then shrinks back down in 5 seconds. And it's like, well, that took the same amount of time to animate as it would if he was just standing there like waving his arms.
Yeah.
As opposed to in live action, it's like, oh, that's like a $50,000 special effects budget to pull off basically a gag.
Yeah.
So like let's do a world that we could fully control, have people come and go. We don't have to worry about them aging. That's a big thing in TV. Is like you watch some of these shows like Heartstoppers, like Kit Connor has aged 23 years between the 3 seasons of that show. He went from, oh, you're a little puppy dog boy to like, oh, you have to like wax your chest because you're a man now. But yeah, so animation just it let us control the world 100%, and with the types of stories we want to tell, we needed that type of control. Like there's episodes that I've already written because I've written basically the entire first season just because I was having so much fun with the characters. I'm like, let me just keep digging deeper and discovering more things. So it's like there's an episode where Shep, Matt Cohen's character, and his brother go to Mars. As like, and they just have a wacky space adventure that's a spoof of John Carter of Mars. As
Oh my
like,
God, that's cool.
if I were to do that in live action and the studio even let me try, we'd have to go to like the desert north of Los Angeles and have an actor literally in a spacesuit walking around and be like, ooh. Meanwhile, there's like people hiking 50 feet away being like, what's that doing? Which kind of would be really funny, but it wouldn't convey the actual like, hey, in this episode, in 20 minutes, this character goes to Mars, has an adventure, comes home, and like moves on with his life. And animation lets you do that.
Are there like any ways like other than controlling the world where you thought of like, okay, we can do this particular thing in animation, like story wise, that we can't do like in live action, for instance?
Yeah, I mean it's all silly stuff, but like this second episode, most of the core characters go on a booze cruise for Cthulhu's birthday.
Okay.
And then Cthulhu, while they're out there, they meet another kaiju female monster character. And Cthulhu and the other creature grow to Godzilla size and start fornicating on top of a real island on the coast of California. And it's like, yeah, I probably could get away with most of that in live action.
That's
It's
fair.
like literally the other characters are on top of the submarine, like eating popcorn, watching these two Godzilla-sized
So it's
monsters.
like it's a booze cruise underwater.
Yeah, well, they're in a submarine. They're in Captain Nemo's submarine from
Yeah,
20,000 Leagues Under the
yeah.
Sea. And then at some point, one of the characters gets seasick, so they go up to the surface.
Mm.
And then while they're up there, that's how we introduce the Little Mermaid. It's how Cthulhu gets birthday sex. It's how a bunch of things get accomplished. But again, a real submarine, a multiple giant-sized monsters, the destruction of an island, a mermaid in the same episode. Steamboat Willie has a cameo, which is the first Mickey Mouse ever.
Yeah.
You just can't do that many crazy things at the same time in live action.
Yeah, that's
Because
true.
eventually they'd be like, great, you have so much money for special effects. Which thing do you want to do? And they'll tell you, it's like, oh, you have a little bit left over. You could do one of those other things. And this, you're just like, cool. Characters can vomit rainbows and get pregnant, give birth, and like send their kid to college in a 30-second sequence, and it costs you no money. As like, and that's really freeing and fun for storytelling purposes.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So what's the future looking like? Because we have all watched the pilot episode so many times. We really want more.
Watch it thousands of times more. No, hopefully we are going to sell the show. Like I said, I've already written at least versions of the entire first season.
Mm-hmm.
So I know exactly where characters are going. I know what the long-term story arc of the show generally is, at least for the first few years. Yeah, we want to sell it to a network and have people pay. There's things from the first animation that we would do slightly different. We might tweak some character designs. We might swap out a couple voices. Yeah, we want it out there. We firmly believe there's no reason why the show can't run 36 years and a million episodes just like The Simpsons, because literally every year there's new characters that enter the public domain.
Yeah.
So like if we were picked up today by season 8 or 9, we literally could introduce Batman and Superman. Like imagine what this screwed up brain has to say about Batman and Superman. It's like, so it could stay fresh forever, even if we retired some characters and was like, oh, that character went off to, go start a farm, in a spinoff written by Taylor Sheridan. Is like, we could literally just replace them with a new public domain character and be like, if you ever want to come back and voice that character, like, let us know. We'll bring you back for an episode, or our characters will go visit your character. But yeah, it's got an infinite shelf life, infinite possibilities. We just need somebody to write us a big old honking check.
Well, we hope that happens.
Yes. If anybody knows anybody,
If you don't know anybody, how do you expect the people watching this to know anybody?
I don't know. Somebody's like cousin's college roommate's uncle could be like the head of Netflix.
As a distribution executive, I'd think you'd know the head of Netflix.
Well, it turns out there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people that work at Netflix, and literally every department is run completely separately.
Yeah.
Like there is somebody whose job is getting paid 6 figures just to develop holiday movies at Netflix, or just animation, or just kids animation, or just horror TV shows. Like every possible variation, there is essentially 1 or 2 people that are just sitting there in a room being like, oh, this is what we do now. Got it. So, and if you don't know that person, like I have talked to people at networks and be like, oh, hey, your TV drama, do you know somebody that you could send me over to the TV comedy department or the TV animation? Like, no, never met him. It's like, there's people at Netflix who don't know
Other people at
the other.
Netflix.
So it's like I know 5 people at Netflix, but they're not the right 5 people.
Yeah, it's
But we're
it's
working on it.
siloed.
We're always working on it. We're always trying. There's always meetings, and there's always more projects to come.
That's exciting. I mean, I think that Netflix would want to do this because they did like BoJack. Like BoJack was a Netflix original, and I feel like
Yeah,
this kind of like follows in the footsteps of it, like not directly, but in more sort of like the roots of it.
yeah. I mean, there's probably 20 places the show could easily go. Like it could be on Fox after Bob's Burgers,
Yeah.
but it would be slightly different because it'd be on broadcast. There's Comedy Central that has South Park. There's
Yeah.
Netflix that did Big Mouth and BoJack.
Yeah.
There's Adult Swim. There's like everyone, and that is part of the thing. Is like any place we go will want a slightly different version because they're either going to have to appeal to a different demographic or a different audience, or a lot of Adult Swim shows are 12 minutes long instead of 22 minutes long, which I would happily do that as like, cool, give us 10 seasons like Rick and Morty. But, I need to go back to every episode and basically chop them in half.
Yeah.
Because it's like our animation scripts are 30 pages to animate to 20 minutes. So it's like, great, I'll need a 21-page script to animate to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we are open, we are agnostic. Just, there's strings with every deal.
That's true. Anything that you can point us towards, something that we can maybe look forward to.
X's will be out. Well, by the time this episode airs, X's is out. We always appreciate more support. Public domain. The first episode is on YouTube. The higher
And you
we
can buy
can
the
go,
merch. I saw that you guys have merch now.
Oh yes, we do have. What is it called? Coffee. We have an online store. If you want to support us and you can't make a convention, we'll ship almost anywhere in the world. Some of those international shippings get very expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got t-shirts, stickers, magnets, kids books, lots of stuff, posters, signed things. We have lots of signed stuff. So yeah, anything you could do to support the project helps us make more projects.
Well, you heard it here first. Or not first, but you heard it here.
They've heard me squawking the same squawk for like a year and a half now. They're like, "Oh, this guy? Oh God, we know.
The public
We know
domain
all
guy.
about public domain."
Well, I do think it's a great idea, and I would like to see it on TV.
I would too. I would love to collect those checks. No, I think it kind of blows my mind. The few times we've had the chance to put it in front of people, everybody has always been like, "This is amazing. We love it. We haven't seen anything quite like it. It's got long legs," which people want on TV because you want a show to last for a long time and make lots of money and have merchandise.
Yeah.
And then, there's always some contrived reason where they're like, well, it's very sitcom-y. We want action shows like Invincible on Amazon. I was like, okay, but like you can have a sitcom and an action show. Plus, lots of action happens in our show. I mean, the pilot was honestly, our pilot episode is very subdued to what the rest of the show is going to be. There's murder and death and hookups and World War III and Bravo reality shows about princesses and monster kaiju destroying islands and Shep Goes to Mars, and like that's just the first 12 episodes probably. So it's
That's
like we
amazing.
have the action, but you know, studios have mandates, and they're like, well, you don't fit in our mandate, so we don't want to talk to you. Come back in 6 months. But hey, Sarah, we will. It will find the light of day eventually.
We hope so.
Yeah. What
Well,
else you
thank
got?
you. No, I got that's all. That's all I got.
All right. Great. That was the
Thank
most
you.
painful German experience of my life.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into public domain. If you want to watch public domain, it's still on YouTube, so you can go watch it, go buy merch, and support the project. Thanks so much for watching, liking, sharing, and clicking that bell.